Just because someone is a family member does not give them an excuse to make you feel bad about yourself, period. So today's hot topic, and it is inspired by the news of this week of famous families falling out, and although I'm not going to make comment on that because I don't know the family dynamics, I thought I would create an episode because this is a problem that comes up for a lot of my clients, and that is they struggle to regulate their nervous system because their family keep dragging them back, because that's what's happened their whole life. So the 3 signs that this is a problem, that family dynamics are a problem. And we're going to talk about how to set boundaries without going no contact. Like, you don't have to do that. Before we get started, I'm SMr&x. I'm a qualified healthy relationship practitioner, and I've been helping people heal their nervous system so that they can find healthy, aligned love for the past 10 years. And this topic is super close to my heart because actually I have cut off quite a few family members throughout my life. The earliest one actually goes back way before I studied about family dynamics, way before I studied about behaviours, and that would be my biological father. I spent much of my childhood waiting around for him to show up. I would be sat in windows, and then when he would pick me up, he would spend the whole weekend trying to turn me against my mom and my dad that brought me up. And it went through a cycle, and as a kid you don't really know any difference, but you do know what it feels like to be let down. You just maybe can't put words to it. The final moment for me was when I was 11 years old. I was sat in my bedroom, my bright pink fuchsia bedroom, and I got a text from him saying he wasn't coming this weekend because he had to go and look after his girlfriend who had tonsillitis. And I remember clear as day. And if it happened nowadays, I would probably wait a little while before sending a text back, but I didn't have my full frontal lobe back then. I text back saying, as an 11-year-old child, something along the lines of, it's nice that your girlfriend is more important than your daughter. If you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic. And he texts back to his 11-year-old daughter saying, if you're old enough for sarcasm, you're old enough for respect. Ring me when you get some. And you know what? I never did. And over the years, I have seen him here or there. I saw him in a pub once, and he approached me, and I was like, I don't have anything to say to you. And then a few years later, he tried to contact me, and I had a bit of contact with him for a few weeks, and then I was just like, you are no different to that person. And this is the thing. Most people think because someone is a family member that they've got to allow this contact, this maybe nastiness. And you don't actually have to allow that. And I tell you this story not to make you feel sorry for me, but to make you realise that if an 11-year-old can realise that it's not okay for someone to treat them like that, then you as an adult listening to this can realise that too. So I said to you that I would give you the 3 signs. There's so many signs, but these are the 3 main ones that this may be a problem for you. And part of the reason that I'm recording this episode, not because of the Beckhams, but because I see this dynamic in a lot of my clients. And so if it's a problem for them, it's possibly a problem for other people that are listening. So number one is that every interaction with them makes you feel dysregulated. So what I mean by that is you come away from seeing them, from meeting them, and you feel anxious. You know that feeling in your chest, the tightness, that's anxiety. You feel small, and they've made you go in on yourself a little bit. You might feel angry, and you might not completely know why, or you might feel angry at yourself because something was said to you and you didn't hold them accountable for it. Another sign that you're dysregulated is that you might feel guilty and you don't even know what for. Families have this weird way of making you feel guilty and you don't even know why. And then with that comes confusion. So next time that you meet with a family member, that you will know the ones. I don't need to say to you who that family member is, because if this is a problem for you, you will know the ones that make you feel shit, right? Start to notice every time you leave if you feel dysregulated. Number two is that there is no accountability from them. So if you challenge them, they will always say that it's somebody else's fault. And if you've had a traumatic childhood, it could be, well, I had a bad childhood. And they're taking no accountability for the fact that they're now an adult and they are in control of making changes to who they are. They often will say stuff like, that's just who I am. And again, they're not taking accountability. And if you're listening to this, you're watching this, you are the type of person that is trying to take accountability for yourself. You don't need to be around people that make you feel bad, that make you feel like you're the problem. And the thing is, and the reason that I'm raising this is because, as you all know, our nervous system tricks us into being attracted to what we know and what is familiar. So if you have people around you, family members, friends, because this isn't just a family thing, that make you feel small, that make you feel anxious, you will naturally be attracted to the same types of people that make you feel the same way, because that is familiar to you and familiar is safe, even though logically it doesn't make sense. And that's why so many people will get in relationships with people that are like their parents, particularly in abusive families. And the third sign is that your growth threatens them. And what I mean by this is they may take the mick out of you for going to therapy. They may take the mick out of you for getting a coach or for reading self-help books. And also, when you start to better yourself, they will remind you of when you were the worst version of yourself. Now, I have family members that I have very limited contact with because I have grown as a person and they haven't. And that's fine for them. Like, not every path is the same for everyone. But you cannot punish someone just because you've decided that you're happy being the same. And so I said to you that I would also give you some ways of distancing yourself and protecting yourself without going full no contact, right? Because most of the time, no contact isn't an option. And I would love to be able to say that it is. And I know there are other people that speak about this and they're like, just cut them off. I did it. with one individual. If you have other family members that are involved with this person, it is extremely difficult to be able to cut people out of your life. Friends, it's different. Family, it's hard. And so, yeah, if someone makes you feel like rubbish every single time you meet them, if you can cut them out of your life, do it. Absolutely do that. If someone is abusive, emotionally, physically, however, regardless of whether they're related to you, absolutely cut them out of your life. But if it isn't those extremes, then there is ways of keeping yourself safe while still being able to be part of a family dynamic. So the first way that I would do this is to reduce your frequency of contact. So this could be calls. Reduce how often you call them. If there's someone that never calls you and you're the one that always contacts them, just stop doing it. It won't take very long for them to contact you. I know this from my own experience. Reduce the amount of texts. If you're going to see them, say, I can only be an hour or half an hour, whatever that is. Make actual arrangements afterwards in your diary so you literally cannot stay. The second thing that I would do is I would keep conversation neutral. What I mean by that is you don't need to start talking about politics, religion. You don't need to be talking about your relationship, the way that you feel. Keep it as though this was a new person that you were meeting. Talk about the weather, talk about life in general. Don't disclose too much, and don't disclose anything that could be used against you in some sort of emotional tug of war. It's not worth it. If work is a safe subject, talk about work. Just keep it a very neutral conversation, and then you won't end up with the same dysregulation. And linking in with this is the third thing that I would recommend is setting boundaries around that relationship. So stop engaging in certain topics, and if they try and talk to you about them, either if you have the confidence to turn around and say, I'm not going to talk to you about this, do that. If you don't, I need the toilet. My phone is ringing. Leave the conversation. Don't engage in the conversation. If you know that it's something that is going to bring up emotions for both of you. And that's the same with setting boundaries around when you have that contact. No, you can't just come around my house whenever you feel like it. No, I'm not there as soon as you call. I'm not going to drop everything. I have a life as well. And just setting those boundaries, because the first time that you do it, the first time that you say, no, I'm unavailable, they'll be like, oh, maybe I should have planned this a bit better. And the more that you do that, the more you, one, learn how to set boundaries with other people. So when you're dating, it's a perfect skill to have, but it will also put your relationship on a track that you're in control of. And most of the issues with family dynamics, with dysregulated nervous systems because of family relationships, is simply because people feel like they lack control of it. And the fourth thing that I would recommend is that you get used to being uncomfortable. If you have spent your entire life pleasing all of your family members, never standing up for yourself, never being assertive, never turning around and saying, it's not okay to talk to me like that. The minute that you start doing these little baby steps, and it's little step by step by step of setting those boundaries, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's not going to feel good. And that's okay. The more you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, the more your life will change. And so I'm just here to remind you that just because someone is family doesn't mean they get to treat you badly. You can set those boundaries and just think of it as you are taking the steps to make sure that ultimately you end up in a healthy relationship, because that starts with what else is going on around you. People pleasing, being less of yourself, feeling anxious doesn't normally only manifest in relationships and dating. It is normally, from the thousands of people that I've worked with, it's a whole problem in a person's life. So this is a starting point for you. And if you want support with that, somewhere around here, there will be a link to book a call with me where I can take you through the step-by-step process that I take all of my clients through on their journey to find healthy love and to live a great life. Click the link, book in, it's completely free, so you have everything to gain and absolutely nothing to lose. Book your call. That's it for today. I will be back soon with another episode. Make sure you subscribe. Bye.